Hey everybody, what's going on? So today I'm just going to be doing my very first live streaming. Now today what I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit, and I definitely want to see if we can wait until we have a couple people in here before I start to explain it. So I'll just kind of explain the situation, why I'm going live. Basically, I just got monetized. I got approved from the YouTube partnership program, so I just thought I'd check this whole live stream situation out and see what we can do with it here. So just wait to see if some people join in here. I see we got one person. Let me see. This, and by the way, I do apologize. This is going to be complete amateur hour. I This is my first time, so I'm trying to figure out, how to see the chat and how to see who's in it and whatnot. So just bear with me here. All right. Okay, see, we got someone in here. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to wait a little bit and see if more people join. But today I'm going to be talking about ranked choice voting. So if you have any opinion on that, or if you want to, send something in the chat and ask a question, I'll definitely be paying attention to the chat as well. All right, let me just see here. All right, I'm going to see if I can pull up a video here of just someone kind of explaining the ranked choice voting. Then we can kind of go over that once we get a few people in here. And thanks again for everybody who's joining in. I really appreciate it. It's the one I saw earlier. Let me just get. Sorry about that. And again, anyone, if you want to say something in the chat, you can definitely go ahead and do that as well. And again, I do totally apologize. This is going to be amateur hour for my very first stream. But again, thank you very much for joining me. And definitely, if you have any questions or comments or just early thoughts about ranked choice voting, definitely let me know what you think. Anyone's welcome to comment. All right, give it a couple more minutes here, and then we'll just get going, starting to explain my thoughts about ranked choice voting and whether we should be using it or not, and whether or not it's better than the current system we use in Canada. We have a parliamentary like seating system where we don't have an electoral college like the United States. We go by seats. So, for example, if you win 170 seats, you get a majority government in Canada. In the States, it's either you're the president, or your party wins, or they lose. So it's a little bit different. All right, about 30 more seconds, and then we'll wait till the 5 minute mark, and then we'll start getting into this a little bit more. And always definitely feel free if you want to say something in the chat. You can definitely just send whatever question or thought you have. We can definitely talk about that as well. All right, so let's get into this a little bit here. I know there's only one person here. Thank you again so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. So basically, what ranked choice voting is it's a system where instead of you just picking who you want to win, you would actually just kind of rank each candidate from first being the best and say third or if number five being the worst. So, like for an example, in Canada, let's just say you hate Trudeau, he's the worst, so you'd rank him five, and then maybe you like the NDP a little bit more, so you put them at number four, and then maybe the Greens are at three, and then maybe if you're from Quebec, whatever, and the Blocs are two, and the Conservatives are one, or whichever order. That's basically how that works. And then you would, and there's different ways of doing it as well. Like if I saw one video where they just said basically that if there's five candidates, and after the first round of ranked choice voting, if no candidate gets over 50%, they essentially just eliminate the number 4 and 5 candidate, and then they do ranked choice voting again. So this time you'd only have 3 options, so on and so forth until you get down to that 50%, or at least that 50% mark. Now, another way you could do it is you could also just let everybody vote once. They're ranked choice voting, and whoever gets the highest average, right? So if you're average, you get most 1 point or a ranking of 1, and you have very few 2s and even less 3s, and maybe you're disliked a lot, so you have some 5s, so it's going to knock your average down. But out of all that, like if you're average from 1 to 5, closest to the best top rank for the percentage, you could also have the winner declared that way as well. But it just depends. Two Flips says, I do not like this system. Which system do you mean? Like how I'm running? I know I'm being a little bit slow right now, but like is it slow? Like, can you hear me properly? Like, what do you mean by the system? Or are you talking about like how you vote? I assume you're talking about, now that I've cleared that up with my brain, I'm assuming you're talking about like how we have the current system in voting, which, as I explained before, it's the like we do it by seat in this country. So, but yeah, if you're talking about the rank voting, and my rationale is because I think parties that do a good job should get lots of seats. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I would kind of agree with that too. It's, if you have the number 5 or the worst average, you're not going to have any seats, or you'd have very few seats. Or you could just get rid of the seats altogether and just kind of rearrange Parliament. But it's complicated in order to enact a new system. But I'm definitely open to doing something like that, where we can kind of change how the system works. Because I do agree with you. I think that the best party, the more logical party, should get the most seats. I'm not sure if you, if either of you, pay attention to American politics, but I think that if the American system had a ranked choice voting system where you kind of took the average between Trump, Biden, and Kennedy, I think Robert Kennedy would actually have the best chance of winning, because out of those 3 candidates, yeah, he might not get the most 1s, but he's going to get by far the most 2s, and he's going to get almost no 3s, right? Who's going to vote Biden 1, Trump 2, and then Kennedy 3, right? Like, no one's going to do that. And same with like Trump 1, Biden 2. It's going to be Kennedy as number 2, right? So Robert Kennedy would get almost 0 3s. He'd get a whole bunch of 2s. He'd definitely get some 1s too. So that kind of system would definitely, in my opinion, at least benefit him for sure. All right, I'm going to just play a video for you guys, and then we'll go over that. Just a 4-minute and 17 videos kind of explaining how that ranked choice voting works.
Are you sick of the onslaught of negative political ads that air on your TV every election season? The fear-mongering, the half-truths. Believe it or not, there's a simple reform we can enact to make elections more bearable for voters. It's called ranked choice voting. or RCV, and it could change our politics for the better. Here's a quick refresher on how it works using some pets owned by my colleagues here at Inequality Media. When you head to the ballot box under ranked choice voting, instead of voting for just one candidate, you have the option to rank candidates in order of preference: first, second, third, and so on. So if you're stuck between two preferred candidates for a position, you can spread your preferences out in hopes that one of them wins. I really like Daisy, but I think Beatrix might be a better choice. So I'll rank Beatrix first and Daisy second. When ballots are counted, if none of the candidates gets an outright majority, the candidate with the fewest votes is eliminated, and their votes are redistributed to their supporters' second choice candidate. This process continues until a candidate receives over 50% of the vote and is declared the winner. Congratulations, Beatrix. Pretty cool, huh? It's also good for a whole host of other reasons. Implementing RCV could have the added benefit of making our elections, well, nicer. Take the recent election in Alaska, for example.
It's so funny that even in this race, people actually hold our friendship against us.
Compare that to what we see in places without RCV.
Far left John Fetterman is too far left. He's dangerously liberal on crime.
In a ranked choice voting system, candidates are less likely to engage in this kind of mudslinging because they're not just trying to be a voter's first choice, they also want to be the second choice of voters who are backing their opponents. This can motivate anyone running for office to be more inclusive and appeal to.
Pause that. That's the thing too. Is you get all these candidates just throwing all kinds of shade at each other, which makes you dislikable to the people who don't like you, right? So that he's right there. You would get rid of some of that because you want to also appeal to people who don't like you. You don't want to get ranked last, right? So you want to get ranked second. So you're going to be more reasonable with your approach. So that's a great point.
Broader range of voters, helping to connect people who don't always agree on every issue. RCV also allows us to exercise our right to vote without feeling like we're compromising our beliefs or simply voting for the, quote, lesser of two evils. We could vote for the candidates we like most rather than voting against the candidates we like the least. RCV could also open the door to voters casting their ballots for more third-party candidates. Even if your favorite candidate from your preferred party is not favored to win, that person could still be your first choice without you feeling like you're giving up your vote entirely. If your candidate doesn't make it to the final round, your second or third choice could still end up winning in the final tally. Ranked choice voting can even change the kinds of people who run for office for the better. Potential candidates wouldn't have to avoid running for fear of splitting the vote or spoiling a close election, allowing for a potentially more diverse pool of candidates to run. Again, look at Alaska, where voters used RCV to elect Mary Peltola to Congress, making her the first Alaskan native and first woman to represent the state in the U.S. House. Lastly, ranked choice voting saves everyone, you, me, elections officials, time and money. There would no longer be runoffs, which can be costly and often have lower turnout, which means election results that are less likely to reflect the will of the public. There's a reason why RCV is starting to sweep the nation. It's currently being used by 13 million voters across the country. Ranked choice voting makes elections less painful, less expensive, and can help make our government more inclusive and responsive to what people actually want. Maybe you can organize to make ranked choice voting a reality where you live.
Yeah, so that's definitely an interesting video. The guy broke it down pretty well. But yeah, like the more I hear about it, the more I'm kind of like switching over my opinion to, hey, maybe we should do this, especially if it's going to help Robert Kennedy Jr. That being said, that means they won't do it because it'll help Robert Kennedy Jr. If it helped Biden, they'd probably enact it right away. Or Trudeau here in Canada. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen here for just a second. Just want to kind of check Twitter, see if there's any news on any recent polling. I know with the whole wacko situation, I'm sure you guys saw that. We'll see if that's affected Pierre Poilievre in any of the federal polling. So we got something from yesterday here. Yeah, so this really hasn't changed much. Although I think the next poll will be more indicative because this poll was right around the time the whole wacko thing happened. So, yeah, the Conservatives looking good. 43% for Pierre Poilievre, 25% for Justin Trudeau. This is the area, though, that really shocks me with the 15% for the NDP. I mean, Liberal voters have just completely abandoned the NDP. Jagmeet Singh was hoping that with Trudeau just kind of completely slipping in popularity over the last year or two, or even longer, he thought he was going to get a lot of those votes, and so far he's not. And I have a feeling that the reality is actually going to be worse for the NDP and the Liberals because most people like me who are independents and most conservatives don't even take polls. So this number could be closer to 45, 46, 47. If there's a 4, maybe even a 5-point error. I mean, this could get 250 seats for the Conservatives before you even know it. So let me share my screen there so you can take a look. What about conservatism turns you off? Well, it's not that conservatism necessarily turns me off. It's just like I used to be way more liberal when I was young, but now that I've gotten older, I've kind of went more to right, like the whole right versus left thing. It's kind of I try not to pick sides, but I also try to be reasonable. And there's some things like with conservatives that I agree with, but especially like with the more of American conservatives, I think sometimes like their abortion laws are maybe a little bit too harsh. So some that kind of thing kind of turns me off. But honestly, I'm way more turned on to the conservative side now than I used to be because I used to be brainwashed. I used to be one of the sheep where I just think that liberals were the good guys and the conservatives were the bad guys. And the conservative parties in the States and here in Canada, they also take federal campaign donations from big corporations, just like the liberals do. I know in the States they take a lot of money from the NRA. That being said, as I've gotten older, it's actually the Liberal Party who is more evil than the conservative parties. Oddly enough, are you conservative or are you more like in the middle, like a libertarian kind of? So you can also have a look in the polls here. Just got that pulled up for you guys. I'm white, gay, and conservative as fuck. Okay, interesting. And so, like, what made you think about being conservative? Did you do you have more of a conservative family and you just kind of like inherit their ideologies, or did you were you like me when you were younger? Were you liberal then and turned conservative now because the whole like liberal landscape? Yes, very conservative family. I went to Catholic private school my whole life, uniform, etc. That shaped me, I believe, not religious and pro-choice about a fetus. Fair enough. Yeah, that's kind of how that happens. When you're raised by a conservative family, more people tend to be conservative now. Where I think back in the like in the 40s and 50s, when I would say most families were probably more conservative. I think maybe they were a little bit too harsh with everything, and then the next thing you know, the hippies came around and they just went completely liberal. But I think that you were starting to see the opposite happen now, where now people are just so liberal. It's just it's not even really liberal anymore. I mean, all this woke shit. I mean, they're not even liberal. I don't know what it is. Communism, socialism, wannabes, Marxists. But it's even worse than that. It seems it's like authoritarian, tyrannical communism. It's crazy. I love that. I assume that you are Gen Z. So I'll be honest with you, the whole generation, I think I'm a millennial. I was born in 1988, so I'm 35. I think that actually technically qualifies me as a millennial. And I think Gen Z is the one that's just under me, right? Well, while we're waiting for more people, let's have a look. Generations. I look younger. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I got a little bit of gray here from I don't know why that is. It's only here too, but yeah, I'm 35. Be 36 in September. How old are you? Okay, so let's see. We got here millennials born anywhere between 1981 and 1996. So yeah, I'm a millennial. Gen Z is between 97 and 2010. And the alphas, the 2011 to 2025. I like that generation. It sounds masculine. So hopefully we'll have less liberals. I'm kidding, kind of. Oh, you're 30. Okay, so you're about my age. Yeah, 80s babies. Yeah, that's true. Thought you were in your 20s. Oh well, thank you. I don't hear that too often, so I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much. So, and again, if there's any suggestions, anything you're thinking about, anything you want to talk about, it doesn't even have to be about ranked choice voting. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do the stream, but I'm going to go at least a half an hour just to see if we can get some people in here and have a conversation. But again, two flips. I really appreciate you being in here. There's another person in here too. If you want to say hi or if you want to add any comments or anything like that, definitely feel free to send a chat. All right, let's check Twitter here and see what else is going on. Okay. Lots of stuff about the whole Gaza Israel situation. I don't really want to get too into that, but all I know is I want war to stop. Yeah, that's true. I was looking at my analytics earlier, and it kind of shows you like when a lot of your audience is on, and it actually showed that 8-9 o'clock for a Friday night that there was quite a few of my viewers. So I was hoping as more people coming, but that's okay. First time. I know a lot of people only get a couple of views. Some people, sit here for an hour and they got no one in there. So, but yeah, there's probably a lot of people out. I might even go live tomorrow. It's my brother's birthday, so I'll be going out, and then big game 7. I don't know if you're a hockey fan, but big game 7. So I'm not sure if I'll be going live tomorrow, but I probably will on Sunday. You're being censored. You think so? Sometimes I thought that, but then I also realized that I was just making an excuse for myself for some of my crappy views. Can you really check? Like, how do you check if you're being censored or not? Like, do you have a way to see if you're being shadow banned or something? I love hockey. Oh, great. Who's your favorite team? You got a notification? Okay, cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people who subscribe and watch will turn on the notifications. Not everyone though, so maybe not everyone got it. Still trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers. I've heard once you hit 1,000 subscribers, it starts to get a little bit better for you. Canucks, you go. Why do you guess? You don't have faith in the Canucks? They're doing pretty well this year. See what Pierre Poilievre has to say today. Yeah, more fear mongering. The pleb. Not sure if you checked out his channel. His channel's pretty good. You were downtown during game. Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, that was a tough one. I know the Bruins. I'm a Leafs fan, so I'm not very fond of the Bruins, especially the way they've kind of beat us down. So I hope tomorrow's a little bit different. But yeah, that must have been interesting because I heard it got pretty rowdy down there in 2011 when they lost. But it was a tough series. People lighting cars. Yeah, I saw that. People. I thought didn't they light a cop car on fire too? Yeah. That's wild. It's a hockey game, you know. We don't have to go that crazy. But you know what? I think the same thing in Toronto would happen too. If somehow, some way, we won the first Stanley Cup in almost 60 years, yeah, the whole city's probably going to burn to the ground. Unfortunately, hopefully, though, you know, we can. I won't be doing it. I'll probably be staying home if that happens. I live about an hour away of Toronto. Are you out in BC? You worked in a hospital and you had one of the main guys as a patient. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I moved provinces finally because I refused the vax. Oh, good for you, man. And again, I'm not saying people should have or shouldn't have, but I do believe that people should have the choice. So good for you. So where did you live? If you don't mind, I don't want to get too personal, but like, did you used to live out in BC and then move to Alberta or something? Because I think most provinces had the vaccine mandate, didn't they? I'll get back to that in a minute. I just want to quickly kind of read this on from Mike Campbell. Trudeau was just asked just how the average house in Hamilton went from 334,000 in 2015 when he became PM to 850,000 in 2024. His answer is about 7 minutes long. He's blamed the global economy, the pandemic, Stephen Harper, Pierre Poilievre, and now he's talking about dental care. Yeah, that's typical, isn't it? Every single time, it's like, hey, how come you screwed this all up? Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre's not the prime minister right now. Stephen Harper, that's the old prime minister. The global economy, that you're letting in all these immigrants and you're not building any houses for one. You're giving the landlords all the leverage. Like, he's such a dope. I hate Trudeau. I lived in BC from 2008 2022. Grew up in Winnipeg, so just came back and I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I work as a customer service rep. We actually work from home, but a lot of the people I work with, my company's based out in Winnipeg. So I actually work with a lot of people out there. So it's cool. They tell me all kinds of nice things. I'm thinking about getting out of Ontario, that's for sure. Not right now. I couldn't afford to move, but yeah, like as I just said here, I live in Hamilton and about an hour south of Toronto, and yeah, housing prices have almost tripled. The house I live in is about, I don't know how old it is, but it's a hell of a lot older than I am, and it should be probably worth about 300, 340, maybe 350. But I bet if I checked, it would be worth about $700,000 if they put it on the market right now. I live downtown in Vancouver, 450 square feet. That whole time I thought I was a liberal. Yeah, it's when you're in a big city, especially a big liberal city like Vancouver or like me, I've been around Toronto, been in Southern Ontario my whole life, around an hour outside of Toronto. It's so liberal out here. It's kind of hard for it not to rub off on you, especially when you're younger and impressionable. But as you grow up, and then especially with the authoritarian vaccine mandates that they had during the pandemic, it was so ridiculous. I mean, that's why I said earlier, liberals aren't even liberal anymore. They're just authoritarian communists. My face says it all, doesn't it? Yep. Yeah, I hear you, man. I need to drive too. It sucks waiting for the bus all the time, especially in the winter. No, I'm not married. I'm single. Been single for a while, especially during COVID. It was so hard to meet anyone. And then now, being in such a liberal city, it's like the women I do meet, like they don't. Well, once we get talking, they don't seem to. They don't like me too much. They think that I'm a far right extremist a lot of the time because of my thoughts on the vax and whatnot, and how I don't like. I mean, I don't like Trump, but I like him more than Biden. So apparently, that makes me. It's hard, man. What about you? Are you married, or are you seeing anybody, or same? Yeah, yeah. It's tough. That's why I figured if I moved out to someone like Winnipeg, it might be a little bit easier. Go to the suburbs, meet some conservatives. But then again, the problem with conservatives is when I say something liberal that I like, or even just will entertain something that's liberal, it's then all of a sudden I'm a left wing hippie, whatever. It's hard. Oh, well, sorry to hear that, man. It's tough. Breakups suck, especially when you've been with someone for so long, and then all of a sudden things get sour and it ends, and then you got to pick up the pieces and start over. It's really difficult. Okay, let's read a tweet from a stupid person here. Clay Thompson says, I never thought I could hate a politician as much as I hate Pierre Poilievre. I've never seen any Canadian politician who hates Canada more than Pierre Poilievre. Okay, he never has anything good to say about Canada. He attacks our institutions. He attacks the HOC, Wake Up Now Canada. He's attacking the Liberal and NDP coalition for ruining what was a great country, Mr. Thompson. Jesus Christ. Oh, Rachel Gilmore. Here we go. Here's another stupid person. In March, Pierre Poilievre told his supporters to protest the carbon tax outside Liberal offices. Now MPs are being warned to lock doors and get somewhere safe amid planned protests. Oh, is it because of the carbon tax protests or is it because of the genocide protests? Jesus Christ. It's a waste of a nice looking woman. Yeah, I hear you. You know, it's like if seeing her, it's like she's very attractive, obviously, and you go to talk to her, and then she starts speaking, and it's like, oh my god. Not that she's liberal, she's that type of liberal, the one that I can't stand, and I'm sure you can't stand either. Oh, Pierre Poilievre was actually Stony Creek is just outside Hamilton. It's actually a part of Hamilton. It's just on the east end. It's probably I'm actually going there tomorrow for my brother's birthday dinner, so it's probably like a 10-minute drive. Yeah, this is good. It's good for Pierre Poilievre to get out there with the working class people. That's what Jagmeet Singh should be doing, right? Notice he doesn't give a shit about them though. It's all about the pension. It's an epidemic of men being single. Yeah, that's correct. Who Jagmeet Singh? Yeah, he's probably going to get ousted as soon as he gets his pension anyway. I mean, he's never going to be prime minister. I don't even think he'll ever get second place again, to be honest with you. It's an epidemic of men being single. Yeah, that's true. Whether you're straight or gay or otherwise, it's very difficult. Yep, and I think Trudeau was around the same, and Pierre was 61. Yeah, I remember seeing that article a couple of weeks ago, and they think he's the crook. Turkey has no carbon tax and 70% inflation. Canada's inflation rate with a carbon tax is less than 3%. It's all Justin Trudeau's fault, according to Pierre Poilievre's fan base of nitwits. Clueless what carbon pricing even is, let alone how it works. Well, here's what I know about carbon pricing. It keeps going up, and the climate isn't changing, so drop the fucking tax. That's all you really need to know, isn't it? No, because I'm scared of the environment. We need to throw money at the sun, and that'll help. He hasn't had a single emissions bit. Yeah. It is to dominate. Yeah, it's to destroy the middle class, make everything more and more expensive. Oh, and here's another dumbass posting a picture. Of course, the Trump comparison. You know what's really funny about that is I keep hearing he's just like Trump and oh, he's Trump's little puppet. He's looking at Trump's playbook. Does he want to build a wall? No. Does he want to leave abortion up to each individual province? No. Does he want to decriminalize or leave that up to each individual province? No. I'm sure you've seen Trump debate. He is extremely nasty towards his opponents. It's very funny, but I've never heard Pierre Poilievre say that Rand Paul is ugly or that he called Ted Cruz's wife ugly. I mean, that's crossing a little bit of a line. Pierre Poilievre has never done that. The worst thing he's ever said was call someone who is a wacko a wacko. It's such a reach, right? I mean, anybody who knows anything about politics knows that he is not like Donald Trump. He is like an attack dog where he is aggressive, but he's not like super like Donald Trump. It's just such a ridiculous comparison. I keep hearing it, and I don't hear any example other than, oh, well, he's an asshole. Trudeau's not an asshole. No. He told people who didn't want to get the vax that they were right-wing extremists, conspiracy theorists, misogynistic, racist. Meanwhile, a Nazi shows up to Parliament. He starts clapping, but we're racist. Makes a lot of sense. If you're liberal, his liberal math doesn't work. Pierre Poilievre held a press conference under the guise of housing, then proceeded to spend his time ranting about fictional threats. My perception of him would drop significantly. All right, finally someone who's not an idiot. Without a doubt, Pierre Poilievre will use the notwithstanding clause to take away women's abortion rights. I mean, that is more a conservative thing to do, but I don't know. You're right, Trudeau definitely looks terrified. We need to stand your ground. Yeah, I hear it, my friend. I'm going to stop sharing for just 1 second here, because I actually want to look up the abortion laws, because I'm pretty sure they're very, very liberal. Okay, all right, let me share the screen here. Canada has no abortion right law. Does it need one? It's from CBC, so I'm not sure how valuable this is going to be. Okay, this is back when they got rid of Roe versus Wade. What is the legal status of abortion in Canada? Abortion has been legal in Canada since 1988, when the Supreme Court decided in R.V. Morgan Taylor, that a law that criminalized abortion was unconstitutional. I'm pretty sure if I went to Canadian government's official website, should have probably known that was canada.ca, but I forgot. So let's type in abortion and see what it says. Because I'm pretty sure we don't have any legal restrictions on abortion, and I think that's a little bit too far left. It's just a medication. Yeah, I've heard it's more like that. Now, what do you think? Do you think that we should have some restrictions, or do you think that we should, keep the abortion laws right where they are? Okay, so you can't get one after 4 months. Okay. Unless it's a stillborn, meaning there is no heart rate. Okay. Okay, so that's not as bad as I thought. I thought you can get one after like 6 months. That's not as bad as I thought it was. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Pierre Poilievre's likely to touch that one. He knows that it's such a huge issue. And if you look at what happened in America after Roe versus Wade, that really affected the conservatives, or the Republicans rather, in their midterm election race. They were supposed to win a blowout in the House and the Senate, and they won the House, but I think they lost the Senate by one, or it was a tie, but they should have won. And then Roe versus Wade got changed, and a lot of people went back to the Democrats. And considering that Canada is a much more liberal country, even our conservatives are much more liberal than their conservatives, that would be very bad for Pierre Poilievre to do that. So I don't think he will. Yeah, he'll be crucified. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no way. Like, he would lose all women's support for sure. The thing, though, he hasn't campaigned on it, so I don't think he's going to touch it. I don't think he's going to touch marijuana. Like, why would we want to put people in jail for weed? I can see getting rid of the Safe Supply Act, because that's ridiculous. People doing fentanyl in school parks and shit. Since Pierre Poilievre was removed from the House on April 30th, we noticed that the demeanor of his party changed. Because the Liberals are going after this whole Trump thing, and he's got to show without saying names like Donald Trump or Alex Jones, because if he does, they're going to cut out clips, they're going to blast it all over media, and the sheep will believe that, oh my God, he keeps saying these guys' names, he must be their friends, or whatever stupid shit they'll think of. So he's changed his tone a little bit. He's been a little bit more softer. That's good. That means he's not just like a completely unhinged person like Trump is. He has much more of a calm demeanor. He's showing he can do that. And now that he's doing it, the Liberals are like, oh, he's like a kid who's grounded. There's nothing that Trudeau has done that an adult who's fiscally responsible would do. That's the thing about Liberals. They're so fiscally irresponsible with our money. And they say that, oh, we're like children. Right. Without weed, how would I function? Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm a marijuana user myself. They're going to attack him with deepfakes. Yeah, I can see that coming. With Trump, too, I think they're going to start making AI videos that you can make now are getting so complicated, and it's actually kind of scary. I don't really... When technology goes this far, it's like... it's a little bit much, I think. And, the how they're going to use it in their political opponents, it's against their political opponents, it's going to be pretty crazy. You cannot say he's a white nationalist who used the race card. Wow. Yeah, exactly. He's a populist, or see, this is why I don't fully trust Pierre Poilievre, to be honest, because he is a politician. Any politician who comes out and says they're a real populist and for the working class, like Trump or like Jagmeet Singh, hasn't really done what they've said they were going to do. But I think, like I said, Pierre Poilievre is much different than Trump, and obviously much different than Jagmeet Singh, that's for sure. All right, so you know what? I think I'm gonna end the stream here. He cannot touch immigration. I deep dive into understanding. Yeah, I think he's probably going to have a hard time. I think we do need to do something about immigration. We're letting in way too many people, and we can't keep up. But if he does touch it, he has to do it very subtly, because if he comes out and like, I want to build a wall, like then people would start comparing him to Trump even more, and that would be a disaster. So, Two Flips, thank you very much for joining me, man. It's been almost 50 minutes. I think you're right. I think a lot of people are out, so I'm gonna head out for the night, and I'll probably be back sometime Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for watching, though. I really appreciate it. And so check out for that notification, man. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for those who... I'm gonna post this as a main video as well. So anyone who does watch this, thank you as well. And I'll see you guys later.